Add myself to the stage. All right, here we go. Let's turn on some music. This is my intro music. I'll flip with this beat. I'll flip with it. My new background music. You guys ready for this breakdown? Let me know where you guys are chatting in, tapping in. All that. I feel like a little music during my live streams helps with the energy, helps with the ambiance, helps with the all that shit. But welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Let me see. Am I good here? All right, let me know where you guys are tapping in from. Like I said, we're here. And this episode is gonna be an interesting one because as y'all look back at my first episode, I do want to implement a little bit of everything that pertains to my current lifestyle, I guess you can say. And baseball is very, very important to my lifestyle. Matter of fact, it is life to me. So this one is right up my alley. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all come on in, like and subscribe to my channel, as this is episode 3. Episode 3, Right Brain Boricua. Trying to see. I know I'm coming in live at a hot time, and Monday nights are everyone is live on YouTube on Monday night, so I might as well join in, tap in. So I'm gonna get started in just a couple of minutes here. Give me just a couple of minutes while I get this going here. I want to be able to get the video because I'm going to. So here's what I'm gonna do, right? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to play the full inning of the ejection, and then I'm gonna break it down piece by piece. All right, break it down piece by piece, give you my personal opinions and perspectives and everything like that on it. And then if anyone else wants to tap in, feel free. Let me put the link in the chat. Let me do that. That is not it. Let me see if I can. Okay. There you go. There's the link if you want to hit the link to tap in to come on to my live stream here. Hopefully, let's see. Am I good? All right. Either way, we're gonna get started. Again, welcome in, welcome in. I am JS Torres, aka Right Brain Boricua. Here on YouTube, my IG is on the bottom here. I'm gonna leave it up if you want to follow me on IG. I'm also live on Facebook, y'all. I'm also live on Facebook. So if you're tapping in from Facebook, welcome in. Like, comment, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Show your boy some love. Trying to get everything together here. I don't know if it shows that if I'm live on Facebook, but if I am, tap in. Anyways. All right, here we go. So, episode 3. All right, this is episode 3. So we're 3 episodes. So this is after this. We're gonna be 3 episodes in to this brand new journey that I'm doing. I'm still in Georgia, enjoying my time up here. I do miss home a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I do miss Florida. I do miss home. I do miss Tampa. So any of my people from Tampa, shout out to y'all. I miss you guys. I miss home, a little bit. I've been out here for a good 3 weeks now. This is a summer trip, so yeah, we're doing a damn thing. We grinding. Was just out in the sun for like 12, 13 hours. But I'm gonna give y'all this, and I'm gonna give you all the energy I got, because I got a lot of energy and I got a lot of things to say about what transpired during the College World Series Game 2 between Coastal Carolina and LSU. All right. Well, by the way, congrats to the LSU Tigers for winning their second national championship, their second natty in 3 years. So shout out to them. Awesome program at the Division I level. At the elite level, they're the standard. So, but anyways, that's not what we're gonna here to talk about. We're here to talk about this ejection, right? These 2 ejections that happened during Game 2, and it happened in the very first inning of said game. I feel like the music is a little too loud, so I'm gonna lower it down a little bit more so y'all can hear me. But y'all can still hear the music too, right? So hopefully y'all can hear both. But anyways, so let me begin by saying that my thoughts and my opinions are coming from my right brain. This is my right brain. This is my right side. So yes, there's logic, but there's also going to be a little bit of nuance. There's also going to be a little bit of what I would do if I was in the situation that the umpires were in during that game. We're going to break it all down. So I'm going to start by showing you guys the full first inning of Game 2. And also let me know if you guys can hear the audio, see the video and everything like that, because using StreamYard, things can get can get tricky. So, all right. So we're gonna start in the top of the first because this is very important because since this ejection happened in the very first inning, I don't know if you guys can see. Well, y'all can see me in another video, in the side video right here. But anyways, the ejection happened in the, like I said, in the bottom of the first inning, right? So we're gonna start at the top of the first, and I want you guys to kind of pay attention on how the let up to the ejection happened and how it could have been avoided, or it couldn't have been avoided, or it could have turned out differently, what have you. But I feel like we need to get the full context of what happened in this ejection, right? Because not only one coach was ejected, but two coaches were ejected, both from the same team, right? And we all know, if you're following sports, and everything, follow baseball, we all know what team that was, right? We're gonna run the video, we're gonna break it down, and your comments are welcome. Just like I said, keep it respectful. And if you are a fan of either LSU or Coastal Carolina, I want you guys to tap in as well. This is gonna, like I said, we're live. We're doing it live. We're here on YouTube. We're gonna break it down. Let's begin.
Tommy John surgery 2 years ago.
We're beginning
That's
here at the top of the first.
And now here he is on the mound, trying to save the. Not his regular routine to keep the glove over the ear, but he's just waiting to make sure he got the right pitch call, and it was a fastball in there for a strike. Athletic family. Ball that's inside.
Okay, so that was pretty close. Angel Campos, who is behind the plate, is the umpire behind the plate, called it a ball, right? Okay, close pitch. Okay, and that happens, right? So one thing about officiating and umpiring in general is that this job is not easy. It is not easy at all, right? And everyone knows that, right? Everyone knows that, what I do and what we do as officials is not an easy job to handle. But the best ones, and let me say this, right? While we're coming down this rabbit hole, right? The umpires that get chosen to do this special event, these guys, it's not about how perfect you can call balls and strikes. It's not about how perfect you can call safe outs. It's not about how perfect you can call fair fouls, or it's not about knowing every single rule in the rule book. Although all those things play into getting chosen for postseason assignments, World Series assignments, regional assignments. All of that comes into play because of how you perform. And yes, all those things factor into it, but they're not the end all be all on how people get selected to work these types of. There are going to be thousands and thousands of umpires that will never get to work a men's college World Series at any level of college baseball, whether it's Division I, whether it's Division II, whether it's Division III, whether it's NAIA, whether it's JUCO, whether it's the Christian College Association, what have you, any level of college baseball, there are going to be a lot of guys left out in their careers. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just plain and simple, simply a numbers game. It is a numbers game, and you have to stand out amongst your peers, amongst your colleagues, and you have to appear as if that you know your shit, right? Obviously, but also a underlying factor. And I'm gonna give you some game on this, right? Real quick, and then I'll play this, right? You gotta be a master, an expert at handling situations. Handling on-field situations will get you to that next level. Not really about balls and strikes, not really about fair fouls, all that shit. Safe out. It's about how you handle, and also how are you in the game? Like how is your personality? How is your energy? How are you conducting yourself on the field as an umpire? All that plays into it. Okay. I hope you guys are listening to me when I'm telling you this. All that comes into play. All right. Let's move on.
Dad was a fullback at Central Michigan. His older sister played volleyball at Wayne State. His mom, basketball, Saginaw Valley State. Yep. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It was that cutter. First and minute you're going to see today. And it's not maybe what you would typically think of as a cutter. The shape is more like a slider. But mentally he calls it a cutter. Can add depth to it like he did right there, especially the lefties.
And he got him with an up one, and it's now 1 strikeout. Great start for Jacob Morrison. Well, there is Kevin Schnall. We talk about athletic families. His dad was a football coach, a member of the New York Giants.
So this is Kevin Schnall, right? Coastal Carolina's head coach. Keep a note of that. If you haven't seen or heard, he is the main subject of this episode. All right. So Coastal Carolina's head coach here.
Giants, when Parcells and Belichick were there. First-year guy got his team to the finals, and 6 others now. He joins the list of 6 that have done it. The previous 5, including Jay Johnson, lost in the finals. Ethan Fry now up.
Kevin Schnall was the first ever All-American at Coastal, 1999. Big South Player of the Year. Most of his coaching career has been at Coastal Carolina, but leads the country in wins in his first year at the helm.
Into the shift. That's Barthel. He backs up. He's got time, and Fry is out. He was a catcher, and he got hit by a lot of pitches. One of the things you'll see, and we'll talk about when Coastal comes up, they've been balked 178 times by pitches, which is the Division I record. He said, I never moved. I don't want my guys to move.
No, and he kind of keeps it that simple. No catchphrases. Just we're not going to move, and that's a staple. And gosh, 178 for an offense that can be non-traditional in how they produce runs. One thing they do well: run prevention. Tough to score against this squad.
Defense straight away against Milam, who's been a hitting machine in the tournament. First pitch is buried, ball 1. 25 RBIs. Or runs scored in the NCAA tournament. And there are the numbers on the screen. They fed him a whole bunch of fastballs yesterday. He delivered the big hit up the middle. And that was the only run of the game.
He was also about, I don't know, 3-4 inches from a homer off the top of the right field wall, too. So
what's good, D, to this
continuing to do what he's done the last couple years in purple and gold, which is produce in the postseason.
You saw mom and dad there. They call Monster Milam. For the Baton Rouge Super Regional against West Virginia, he carried the team, and he just watches one right there to go 2 balls and a strike. I guess if you put on the uniform, you have to love the big moment.
I thought that was one
he
of the
declares. That's what I'm after.
He's got the right heartbeat for it, that's for sure.
By the way, so y'all can hear me more than the actual.
Capacitor course check is okay.
And y'all, I have my Cash App is on the description too. So if y'all feel like y'all want to bless your boy with the Cash App, it is in the description. I think next time I'm gonna pin my Cash App in the chat.
LSU having 2 shortstops from New Mexico. Two pretty good ones.
Both of them pretty good.
Yeah, that's a nice pipeline.
So D, what you think of the? I don't know if you've heard, but I'm breaking this down. This is an ejection that happened at the College World Series yesterday.
And he's watching
Stay
this one
tuned.
for sure.
It's coming.
On a 2-2 from Morrison. Nope, 3-2.
And well, I'll save it for when it happens. But it's going to happen. It happened in the bottom of the first inning, so this is the top of the first. So
This one is playable,
we're
but
gonna
it's
go
in
to it right
a
now.
place very few can get to, and it's a fair ball.
Okay, yeah, that happened.
The wind is blowing. Sebastian Alexander was late to get there.
So,
and if you can
in
see
baseball
it fall
terms, we
fair,
call
there's
that
likely
a
gonna be
Texas
hit,
leaguer,
because
I guess.
Mitchell and
I'm
Dooley
kind of old school
converged,
when it comes to
and
my
Alexander got
baseball
there late.
lingo. I remember back in the day, they used to call these type of hits Texas leaguers.
It never looks like the gas pedal's
Because
down right
and
there.
the
You
reason
wanna
why
see
they call
your
it a
fielder.
Texas leaguer
This
is
ball, you
because
gotta
I
know
guess
with the wind, this ball's going away from your third baseman and
I guess
shortstop.
way back in the day,
And the other thing for me, KP, is
the
Lyle going all the way
fields
here,
and
like,
stadiums in
this feels
Texas,
like a double,
I guess
is
the
it not?
Texas League or
It
whatever,
absolutely should have been a double.
where they were
Hits the
the
gas.
outfields,
exactly what it
the
was.
outfields in those stadiums were
And
huge,
wind's gonna
in
take
fact,
it
were
further in
very
line right
spacious. And the outfielders would play deep
the
because
series and
they
so
want
many
to prevent
games have been
doubles and
decided by
triples
those
and
little
possibly
things.
inside the
Raised
park
at
home runs that
shortstop.
happen
That's one of those little things
at times.
where if Brown gets a
So
single
any
instead of it being
type
one,
of hit
now,
that
it's still
falls
likely
in
gonna be
front of an
0-0.
outfielder and behind an infielder, we call those a Texas league.
Yeah, it feels like a miss on both sides.
And
If
it's
Alexander
it's
doesn't
like
own that
it's like
baseball,
one of
maybe
those
you want
cheap
your corner
hits.
outfielder own that ball,
But
and then
in my opinion,
Milam,
no
for
hits
whatever
are cheap.
reason, just gets caught watching
Okay.
the baseball instead
No
of
hits
hunting
are
a
cheap.
double.
Trust
That
me.
really changes things here with 2 outs.
I think after this pitch, I'm going to move on to the bottom of the first. Yeah, we're gonna move on to the bottom of the first. Okay.
Jacob Moore is gone.
Been phenomenal
All right,
all
here
year.
we go. Bottom of the
It
first.
feels like he has to be in the middle.
All right.
The 0-2 just stays alive. He got hit by a couple of pitches yesterday.
So
And
now
that's become a
LSU is on the
adventure
field.
at College
Coastal
World Series.
Carolina
Hit
is
by
batting.
pitches, whether there's
There's the head
intent to
coach
get out of the way or not.
getting a lot of airtime early on. Little
He
does he know.
chased one there in the dirt, and how
Little
about
does everyone else
that
know
filthy
that
pitch
he was
from
getting a lot
Anthony
more
Hines to
airtime
start.
in about 2 minutes.
So here's the stuff. We talk about the fastball. We get into the mid-90s and maybe a bump more. That last was the slider. That
On
was
another
his
note,
best.
I
Just see the biggest
do
difference
love
between the
seeing
slider and the curveball.
minorities,
Velocity
black,
difference. The curveball
brown
is
baseball
bigger.
players excelling at the highest levels of college baseball.
Listen, his last
Excelling at
outing in
any
the
levels
College
of
Series, he only had
baseball.
one strikeout. There was not a lot of
You
swing
know,
and miss.
we
Now starts it right
we
away
as
with a
black and
strikeout
brown
note. I know
people,
the slider.
we need more of
Sebastian
that. We need
Alexander's the
to
left fielder. Right back up the middle, fielded cleanly. Dickinson, no. Jones couldn't
we
hang
need
on it.
to
Patty, it looked like they were
get them
getting
more
Alexander.
exposure and more like I
the
guess
play here by Danny Dickinson.
get them. You know, I'm trying, and also this like you know with college baseball being the most popular as it's ever been. I feel like because college baseball has been around for over I want to say 150 years or so. It's pretty much just the invention of the sport itself, right? So
No error on the play. They'll give a hit
the
to
popularity
Alexander
has
to
been
bring up
growing,
Blake Barthel.
and it's still
Second
growing,
baseman
and it
hitting
will continue to grow
256
as the years
here in Omaha,
go by.
278 on the season. And Alexander's a threat to go. 27 stolen bases on the season. Strike one from Ianson.
You can kind of make an argument that
He's a junior. He walked on a few
you know,
years ago. Went to the Coastal.
again,
As
the
Barthel
ejection
literally
was
everything
about
that
balls
could
and
go
strikes.
right did go right.
Okay, so
Schnell offered him a walk-on spot. Ianson lands another one. To
Now,
go 2.
we can argue that one, and
chances and steal when they
so,
think they're in a curveball count.
okay.
To me, they've only stole 2 bases here at the College World Series, but
So as you saw that the coach, okay, I guess you could say he didn't like the call that was made, that strike call. Now, again, calling balls and strikes at any level of baseball, especially at the highest of levels in college baseball, it is a very, very difficult task to ask out of an, and it's even very more difficult to be perfect. Okay, we as humans, we are not perfect. Now, I'm not gonna get into the whole speech about how we're not, we're no one else are perfect. We all know this, all right. We all know that like the human element is still very prominent in sports, especially in baseball, especially calling balls and strikes. So again, my personal opinion, I have called those pitches as strikes myself. Okay, I have called those pitches strikes. Okay. Now, rulebook terminology says that the top of the strike zone is from the midpoint between the shoulders and the belt, right? Got something in my eye. Sorry. So that being said, right? It's not the belt, it's not the belly button, it's not the top of the zone, it's the midpoint between the shoulders and the belt, right? You're finding that midpoint, and if the ball goes over the plate at that spot, it is a strike. Okay.
You get that big slow looper and you feel like you're in a curveball count. That's a good time to try to force the issue.
And this is their best base stealer on first base.
Yep. Fastball at 95, misses up.
That one was close. Ball to the ball. So, and this is the thing that really irks me as an umpire. Okay, this is what irks the fuck out of me, right? Is when coaches want to complain about pitches, right? That go quote unquote against them. I gotta use the air quotes, all right? Against them, right? But the next pitch, right, was kind of on the same spot as that curveball, that previous pitch, right? So you can make an he could have called that one a strike too, but he didn't. And guess what? The coach doesn't say a fucking word. Kind of irks me, because if you have the energy to complain and bitch about a pitch that you wanted and you didn't get, but then the very next pitch or whatever pitch hits the same spot and it's not called, how about hey, that's a good call. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, But yet, coaches don't ever acknowledge calls that, quote unquote, goes their way. It's interesting. All right, we're gonna get to this ejection now. All right, I'm done talking. We're gonna get to this ejection. Okay, because look, the coach is now he's paying attention. Now he's like, oh shit. Well, of course, coaches at that level, of course, they pay attention to everything. But especially like you can tell that he did not like one of the calls in that at bat.
Alexander leads off for Walker Mitchell, and they throw over. Against the SEC, Ianson, 11 games started. His first 2 against Missouri and at Texas, 4 earned runs in both. But after that, his last 9 games started in the SEC. He gave up a total of 10 earned runs and struck out 75. Alexander off.
Yeah, baseball is fun. I think people feel the game is slow, though.
That's what you're thinking right
People
there,
think the game is slow because they're so impatient. They don't have the type of mindset
That's exactly what Alexander
that
does right here. Not
people
the best
have.
of jumps, but if
You
gotta
have a little bit of patience. Yes, playing this game. Okay, but when you're in the game, when you're on the field, there's times where it feels like it's slow, but there's also times where it feels like it's very fast too. Okay, and that's what people don't understand. Here we go. See, I'm over here talking, and here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna let this play, and then I'm gonna talk.
In the bottom of the first inning, the home plate umpire throws Kevin Schnall out of this game, and down goes an umpire who had come in to get in the middle of things.
We're going to talk about that as well. Okay, I'm not missing
I
anything.
believe, guys,
we're going to
this
talk
had
about
to
this.
do what happened at the end of the top of the first with the third base coach for LSU. This seemed to stem from the first base coach, and then Schnall remarkably gets thrown out of the game. A College World Series game 2 in the bottom.
Okay, now I gotta stop the video because I want you to notice something, right? Notice the scoreboard, right? Okay, it's 0-0, bottom of the first. There's a runner on second base. There's 2 outs, and we are only 10 pitches in the inning. 10 pitches, and we have an ejection. Now, if you're an official, if you're my umpire colleagues, right, that are live or that are watching this on replay, because this is going to be talked about, and it has been talked about throughout, where I'm at, and all throughout the baseball world. What is the quickest ejection you have had in your game? I think my quickest ejection had to have been, I believe, probably, and I don't really remember these games because I do a shit ton of these types of games, but I want to say it was in the second inning, and I ejected a coach for something very similar, arguing balls and strikes. Okay, which you cannot do. Now, okay. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let this play out the entirety of the ejection, the entirety of what happened, and then I'm gonna break it down.
Bottom of the first.
Well, and I didn't even see that building, guys. Like, it's one pitch, and next thing you know, Schnall's out of the dugout, and Angel Campos had clearly heard enough. That thing escalated quickly.
Again, this will always come back to whatever was said.
ChatGPT, what's a future-proof business in 2025?
They may have just thrown another one out.
You're still out here. It's the full warning. You're still out here.
He just threw Matt Schilling out of the game, first base coach.
I think if
Thing that was said, but at the end of the day, that feels too quick to run somebody and then ultimately 2 right there.
Angel Campos is the name that's familiar in umpiring circles, had a little major league experience as well, a veteran umpire, but Schnall and the first base coach Schilling have both been ejected from this College World Series game in the bottom of the first inning. And Schnall has emphasized to us the most important coach that he has is Schilling at first base, the most important one.
And to us as officials, we don't give a fuck.
Mitchell grounds to Brasco
All right.
at third, and on one pitch, they will get out of it.
Okay. Let's go back. I think it was at 11:45. All right. So what happened on this pitch?
Runs and struck out 75. Alexander.
That pitch right there. Okay. Pitch was called a strike. Now, again, I'm going to keep saying this again and again. Calling balls and strikes at any level of baseball, especially at the highest of college baseball, is difficult enough. Okay? And let me be absolutely 100% real about this shit, right? We are standing back there, right? We are having baseballs that if you get hit by a baseball, that motherfucker hurts, okay? It is corked. It's got leather rawhide, all that shit on that ball. that shit hits you, that shit hits flesh, any type of flesh, that shit's gonna hurt. Okay? And not only that, you are having baseballs being thrown at consistently over 90 miles per 85 to 90, even 100 miles per hour coming at your face. Have you ever had anything come at your face at that type of speed and consistently? And you're going to expect us to not only have that happen, right? But expect us to call that pitch correctly every single time. I'm going to tell you right now, you are delusional as fuck. If you expect and you believe that that ball coming at your face, coming at your body, coming at you is going it curves, it slides, it changes up, it does a lot of shit. Round ball, it does a lot of shit. Okay? And a lot of these pitchers, right? They are masters at trying to locate that ball over a 17-inch plate. Because if they can't do it, they can't play this sport. And especially they can't play Division I college baseball. Okay? Y'all understand me now? All right. Now that I've broken that down a little bit, I'm going to break down so again, the pitch. I have called that pitch, that same exact pitch. I have called that same exact pitch to strike myself. Okay? I have called that pitch to strike myself. Now, take another thing into account, the catcher. I have to trust these dudes, these warriors, okay? These catchers are warriors, especially at the collegiate level. These dudes are fucking warriors, okay? I'm going to say that first and foremost, right? Without them, and I thank them every single time I get a chance to, because my livelihood depends on them. Hello, I'm standing back there behind home plate. Yes, I'm armored and geared, but not every body part of mine is protected. The most important body parts are protected. Obviously, my face, my head. Now that I wear a skull cap, I have to wear a skull cap now because I have been hit in the head way too many times by baseballs. And like I said, those motherfuckers hurt. I cannot stress that enough. Those motherfucking baseballs hurt like a bitch. And I have to trust in those catchers to not only catch those baseballs every single time, but if a ball ends up in the dirt, if a ball ends up over my head, if a ball ends up coming at shit, my legs are open. If it's coming at my fucking balls, I gotta trust the fact that the catcher has to protect that ball to make sure I don't get hit. Because if I get hit and if I get hurt, I can't work and I can't, and that's my livelihood. So I owe a majority of my livelihood to these warriors behind the plate. And we also have to build relationships with these catchers, especially at the college level, because again, we got to work with each other. All right? We got to communicate. There is not one game that I've ever umpired where I have never talked to the catcher. I always talk to the catcher. We always got to talk to the catcher. Catcher always talks to the umpire. That's why so many catchers they make great managers, they make great head coaches, because of the fact that relationship between the catcher and the umpire, that is a special type of relationship in baseball that hardly, and if you're not an avid baseball follower or fan or anything like that, you will have no idea, right?
No good.
And it was a
And
stolen
that's what you're
base
thinking
attempt.
right there, Ravi. Pick
Okay.
a breaking ball count and be aggressive. And that's exactly
Now, let's
what
take a look at the
Alexander
pitch.
does right here.
If we
Not the
can
best of
use a
jumps, but if
replay,
you're
I
picking
don't
a
know.
breaking ball, you've got a little more margin, and Alexander steals that one easy on a throw inside the bag.
Well, with Ianson, about every count is potentially a breaking ball count. He throws that curveball to the slot.
Okay, so what's happening now? Apparently, the head coach, let's just call him Kevin, right? Because that's his name, Kevin. And by the way, you know, we go on a first name basis. Okay, it's not coach, it's not blue, it's this, you know, the umpire's first name and the head coach's first name. Okay, we go by a first name basis at this level. Okay, so any coaches or any future coaches listening in, I want at any type of level of baseball, whether it's T-ball, whether it's 9-year-olds, whether it's high school, I need y'all to get to know umpires' first names, even if the names are unique. My name is unique. I get it. A lot of people cannot say my actual name. I understand it. So when I do introduce myself and say my first name to a coach, I always have to say it at least 2, 3, even 4 times for them to understand how you say my name. I get it. All right. But at the same time, that's how I would want to be addressed, because it's a respect factor. Okay. I will respect you more. And this is coming from me. Okay. I respect a coach more if not only did they address me by my first name, they know my first name, and they keep consistently calling me by my name. Now, do I expect coaches to, especially coaches that I meet for the first time, to know my name all throughout the game? Of course not. Okay, it's not an expectation, but because the same thing goes with me. Sometimes I forget coaches' names. So what I do is I ask the player, mainly the catcher, right? Hey, what's your head coach's first name again? Oh yeah. Hey, such and such. So why can't y'all as coaches approach us and be like, I'm sorry, I forgot your first name. What is it? I forgot your name. What is it again? Oh, okay. Hey, such and such. You know what I'm saying?
Slider roughly 50% of the time.
Okay. Look at what's happening right now. So Kevin, the head coach, he is now out of the dugout and he is literally yelling at the umpire. That alone in itself will constitute at least a warning. Now, in college baseball, there are protocols that we have to follow. Because honestly, we are not trying to just throw out people left and right. Despite what people may actually think, and despite what people may actually say about certain umpires that are trigger happy, that they want to just, you can't talk to them because if you try to talk to them, you're going to get thrown out. Not in college baseball, okay? In college baseball, there are protocols that we have to follow. And if we do not follow those said protocols, then it's going to look bad on us as the official. And we don't want any ejection to, perception-wise, will look bad on us. Because I'm not going to throw a coach out because, again, and I got to shout out my boy Rob Knox, right? He told me this earlier when we were working the college game together. He said, you got to have a sense of feel. And what I mean by sense of feel, I mean by have a feel for what's going on inside of the game itself, right? Have a sense of feel of, okay, it's the first inning. This is the first. We're now in the game, right? This coach is now saying something. He gets my attention. I look back at him. I say, "Hey, we're not. Whatever it is that you're saying, you need to stop. Especially if it's about balls and strikes, because if it is about balls and strikes, then those protocols are a lot. We go through those protocols a lot more quicker than any other situation that happens on the field, if that makes sense. So right now, he is out of the dugout, and now he's starting an argument with the umpire because of a pitch. So what does that mean? It means that he is leaving his position to argue balls and strikes. In college baseball, in any level of baseball for that matter, you cannot leave your position on the field, whether you're in the coach's box on offense or whether you're in the dugout on defense. In Kevin's case, he's not a base coach. His team's on offense, so he's in the dugout, right? You're not leaving the dugout to argue balls and strikes. I mean, that is just simple, basic. No. You cannot do that. And he is doing that. So now the protocol now goes automatically, and I'm pretty sure the umpire did this, right? He gave him a warning. This is now your official warning because now you are arguing balls and you're leaving your spot in the dugout, your position in the dugout to argue. What are you doing? Like, what are we? We're 10 pitches into the fucking game. Like, what are we doing? Look, he's doing the 3, saying that the umpire missed 3 pitches already in this game. There's only 10 pitches thrown in the game already, and he's already counting. He is counting. See, and this is another big no you don't do as a coach and expect to stay in the ball game. You do not count up how many times an umpire has, quote unquote, missed a pitch or missed a call. What do you think that is trick? And I'm going to keep it real. That's going to trigger me. Now I'm triggered. Okay? You got my full attention. Now, if you're doing this type of shit, now the protocol is you're gone. You're done. Get out. You are now ejected. I don't know how else to explain it better than that. Y'all let me know. Do I have any comments so far? All right, we're gonna keep going.
Oh my goodness, he just threw Kevin Schnall out of the game.
As he should. Again, like I said, you're gonna come out of the dugout. Okay, again, number 1, we're coming out of the dugout. I feel like I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, but I'm really not screaming. I'm just loud. My voice gets loud, and I feel like since I'm in a hotel room, I need to keep it down a little bit. But anyways, this is triggering, right? And I'm sure my umpires, my colleagues know this, especially at the collegiate level. Like this is very in any level, especially high school, especially travel ball, all that stuff. It is very triggering for a coach to tell an umpire and to count how many times he's missed a call. You're bound to get your ass kicked out of the game. I'm sorry, but that's just how the protocol goes in baseball, in the sport of baseball. in today's baseball. So the umpire, of course, is within his right to now eject the coach for arguing balls and strikes. He is literally, as y'all saw, right? You want to? Can we go back? Right? He is literally.
First inning, the home plate umpire throws.
Deals that one easy.
He is literally arguing
Well, with
balls and
Ianson, about
strikes.
every count is potentially a breaking ball count. He throws that curveball, the slider,
The
roughly
umpire's
50% of
addressing
the
him
time.
about it. Stop it. For what?
Oh my
Again.
goodness, he just threw Kevin Schnall out of the game.
It's so. Let me say this, right. It's one thing if you're asking as a coach, right? Talking to my coaches, right? There's one thing you can ask a question. You can ask me, hey, where was that pitch? That's, of course, respectfully, of course. You know, I can hear very well, right? And so if you get my attention, you can say my name, my first name. Hey, where was that pitch? And I will gladly tell you without hesitation. I had that pitch in, or I had that out. I have that up. I have that down. What have you? Now, I answered your question. So now you're giving opinions about how, oh, that wasn't in or that wasn't down, what have you. So now we're starting now you're starting an argument. Now you are, how can I say this? Now you are insulting my integrity, so to speak, by arguing. Now you have started an argument with me because now I'm telling you one thing and now you're telling me no, it wasn't. Isn't that how arguments go, right? Y'all let me know if I'm right or wrong.
The home plate umpire throws Kevin Schnall out of the.
Okay, now he's being aggressive after he has been thrown out, right? Of course, when we eject coaches, now coaches are gonna want to know why and are gonna be pissed and everything. Example right here, right? Okay. And then watch what happens.
This game, and down goes an umpire who had come in to get in the middle of things.
Now, at least he went down and came right back up. He didn't pull no LeBron James and faked an injury or whatever. That would, falling on your ass in front of 25, 30,000 people, what have you, and then obviously on national TV, it's embarrassing in itself, right? Of course, I'm pretty sure he's getting it from his colleagues, where he's from, or obviously, he knows people in this industry that's worked with him and stuff, and I'm pretty sure they gave it to him because how you out here in the College World Series and you fought. Like, let's see this again because this, and I hate to laugh, but I mean obviously he's not hurt, but so we could
First inning, the home plate umpire
we
throws
laugh a little
Kevin
bit.
Schnall out of this game.
There he goes.
Down goes an umpire who had
Get
come
over
in
here.
to get in the middle of things.
And he gets right back up and he's back in there.
I believe, guys, this had to do
This is
what
going to be
happened at the
a
end of
two-game
the
suspension
top
now
of the first
because
with the
now
third base coach for LSU.
when you
This seems
at
to
the
stem
collegiate
from
level,
the
when you
first
get
base
ejected,
coach.
it's automatic
And then
two-game
Schnall
suspension.
remarkably gets thrown out of
And
the
now
game.
you have
A
the other
College World
umpires.
Series game 2 in the bottom of the first.
You tell them, hey, you got 2 games. You have 2 games now because now
And I didn't even
you're
see that
you're
building,
out here.
guys.
You're
Like,
not
it's
walking
one pitch,
away.
and next thing you
You're
know,
not.
Schnall's out of
You've
the
already
dugout,
been
and
thrown out. You're
Angel
not walking away.
Campos
You're
had
not
clearly
exiting.
heard enough.
Now you're
That thing escalated quickly.
trying to say your piece to any umpire is going to listen, but we're not going to listen to you.
Again, this will always
I mean,
come
we're going to
down
listen to you, but
whatever
we're also
is
going to tell
said.
you to get the hell out. Unless we're going to be suspended even more games. Right? And then this coach gets thrown out as well because I guess he was arguing, and this is my opinion about this, like looking back from an outsider's perspective, is that I think that he was ejected because he wanted to insert himself. He wanted to become too involved, and he wanted to argue as well. I'm pretty sure, he's defending his head coach, right? Okay, granted, I got you, but you're an assistant coach. We as umpires and officials, and I'm gonna tell you something right now, because it's a problem at the lower levels. When I say lower levels, I mean the kids, the kids ball, any type of kids ball, little league, rec ball, travel ball, what have you. Is that assistant coaches think that they run shit. Y'all really don't. Okay? Assistant coaches are there to coach the players, not to talk to us, not to argue with us, but to coach your team, coach your players. That's all your role is as an assistant coach. Especially during the game. We don't need to hear from you. Okay? I don't care if this hurt. I don't care if this offends anybody, this hurts feelings, but this is the God honest truth. We as umpires, we as officials don't really need to hear from y'all. We only address the head coach. We only address the manager of the team. The coach that's in charge of the team, that's who we talk to. Especially about situations that happen on the field, especially about calls or situations. Now, if for some reason that we need your attention, we will give you the attention. It's a thing like I'll address you if I need to address you. You don't need to address me. Does that make sense? And this is why this coach got thrown out, because now he wanted the attention. Now you got our attention, to which you don't need to do that, because guess what? You're going to be thrown out too.
He just threw Matt Schilling out of the game, first base coach.
Now, I like the way this umpire is escorting this coach off the field quickly, because, again, you're an assistant coach. What are you even doing being involved anyway? I felt like, albeit the head coach was taking a little bit too long and exiting the field after he was ejected, I felt like he would just say what he needed to say, and then he would have walked away. But apparently, I guess he wanted an explanation, and he got the explanation, but then he wanted to keep talking. So what do you think is going to happen if not only that we answered your questions, we explained to you what happened, we also tried to give you a chance to stay in the game, because we're not out here trying to throw out people, especially in a College World Series championship game. Like, think about it for a second. Like, we're like, especially me, like, I'm not trying to hunt and look for guys to throw out just because they say that I missed the pitch, or just because they think that my call was the wrong call. I'm not going to throw you out for that. But what I am going to throw you out for is you keeping on with the same rhetoric, with the same bullshit that you are spewing after I told you 2-3 times to stop or to, hey, this conversation I already explained to you. I'm going to explain it to you again. I'm going to explain it. At some point, I'm going to be tired of explaining to you because you're not listening. Okay? Once you're not listening to me, that's it. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. Either go back to your dugout, go back to your coach's box, go wherever you need to go, but you need to get the hell away from me.
I think
Thing that was said, but at the end of the day, I that feels too quick to run somebody and then ultimately 2 right there.
And let me address that comment, right? Like the Kyle Peterson said about that was too quick of a hook, basically, because it's the first inning of a championship game. Look, again, the coach yelled, argued, and did the whole 3. You missed 3 pitches. You're counting, and he left his position to argue balls and strikes. He ejected himself at that point. The coach ejected himself. Is the whole point of all of this. If there's anything you want to take away from this video, this episode, take away this. The coach ejected himself. Like, I don't know what else to like break down other than the fact that the ejection was warranted at that point. Because I want to say most, if not all ejections, the coaches or the players or what have you, they do it to themselves.
Angel Campos is the name that's familiar in umpiring circles. Had a little major league experience as well, a veteran umpire, but Schnall and the first base.
All right, so there you go. So what do we think, y'all? Okay, I don't broke it down. I don't gave my opinion, my expert opinion on this because, listen, at the end of the day, right? We, especially at that level, right? At that highest level of college baseball, those guys out there, they deserve to be there. They deserve all the flowers that they can get because they achieved something that a lot of umpires desire, a lot of umpires wish, including myself. I have a desire to be one of those guys in Omaha at the College World Series, umpiring at the College World Series. It's a dream. And I pray to God that that dream will come into reality. And if it's not in Omaha, it could be in Cary, North Carolina, where the Division II World Series is being held. Or it could be in Eastlake, Ohio, where the Division III World Series is being held. Or in Idaho, where the NAIA World Series is being held. And I have guys that I have worked with, partners that I have worked with, that have now been in those levels of college baseball in the World Series, whether it's NAIA, whether it's Division III, whether it's Division II, and now Division I. So that's a big deal. Okay. So before anyone wants to come on, and I already heard the bullshit, you know, guys, you know, especially guys that are heavily involved in college baseball, saying how can you throw out a coach in the first inning of a championship game? You know, it's not about you. It's not about the umpires. It's about the kids. It's about the players. It's about, y'all, you know what? Y'all can kiss my ass with that. Okay? And here's why I say y'all can kiss my ass with that. Because listen, again, we are not there to purposely throw out people. They do it to themselves. If you have any type of feel, any type of intelligence within you, you would know that, damn, well, that coach shouldn't have been arguing balls and strikes. That coach shouldn't have came out of the dugout. The coach shouldn't have just counted how many times that he's missed pitches. All those things that happen, right? And you want to tell me that, oh, he didn't deserve to get ejected? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, be fucking for real, right? And listen, y'all. Like, I get the fact that we as officials, y'all don't like us, and we don't care. Well, at least I don't care. I'm gonna be absolutely 100. Like, you can not like me all you want, but do I care? No, not really. And it shows. Because I mean, and I'm not gonna get too deep into this because I gotta go. But I'm gonna leave y'all with this, right? If you treat the game with respect, then none of this shit will happen to you. Just be respectful to the game. That goes for everybody. That goes for players. That goes for coaches. That goes for fans. That goes for parents. That goes for even umpires, even officials. Respect the game. Because I being in this industry, I know of guys that are umpires that don't respect the game. And that happens too. I'm not shying away from that. But we got to find out who those people are. And those people, I'm going to tell you this. Those types of guys, those types of umpires, they're not umpiring the College World Series. Or they're not umpiring in any type of high level of postseason play. Because I'm pretty sure every single umpire that has worked a postseason game or postseason tournament has great respect for the game and for the sport of baseball. I can guarantee you that. So I'm going to leave on that note. I appreciate you guys tapping in. I appreciate the likes and the support. Please keep supporting your boy in this YouTube journey. I was going to do an episode on travel ball life out here, but I think I will do that next time. Again, I don't want to be too long on these live streams. I want to keep them, especially with me talking by myself, I want to keep them under an hour and a half or so, especially under 2 hours. But, the conversation gets to the point where, like, I lose track of time and, you know how I go. But yeah, hope you guys have a great evening, great night, great morning, whenever you are watching this. If you are watching this on the playback, just when you come into the building or before you leave a like. Help me push my content out there. I feel like this is good content for those that are followers and lovers of baseball. And I'm just trying to help grow the game, especially at the collegiate level, especially at amateur levels. Like, let's help grow the game by not only respecting the game, but also respecting your officials, respecting all those that are involved in the game. And I promise you, this sport will become as popular as it was back in the 1950s, 60s, and even the 70s, and even part of the 80s too. I feel like that era in baseball was at its highest as far as popularity goes. And I think we can do it. We can get back to those. We can get back to that. But it takes us as a baseball community. It takes us. It takes us to really push baseball out there more to people, especially people in the inner cities, my black and brown people. Let's try and push baseball more to these communities. I'm going to do my part. Will you do your part? On that note, adios. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. JS Torres, Right Brain Boricua, signing out. Adios.